Okay, today we're going to make some ribs. Also, along with the ribs, we're going to have some smoked cauliflower puree, and then we're going to roast some veggies also. And everything's going to be done on the Pit Boss. So, but the star of the show, these beef short ribs. Also, we bought these from Fitmate, and just by looking at them through the package, I am super excited about these because I can see the intramuscular fat that's running through these things. Yeah, they look really, really good. I mean, they've cleaned them up quite well. I might just take a little bit of the extra fat that's on the top off, but other than that, I'm yeah, quite happy. As you see, we're out at the grill. I've just taken a little bit of the harder fat, and I had a vein in here that I had to remove, but that's all good. So I'm going to put the rub on. Just going to apply a little bit of oil just to help this all the salt and everything stick. So just a little bit. Don't have to go crazy with it. Make sure you get a little bit of lubrication all over everything. Something for your rub to stick to. Alright, now I'm just going to come in with some salt. I like to apply my salt separately from any other rub, so I can make sure I get enough seasoning on there. Enough salt, I should say. Just give it a little bit of press. Make sure you get the edges. Now, on the back, I've left the membrane on there. So the salt probably won't get through there, and it's mainly bone and everything, but I like to put a little bit on there all the same. Get the next one. This is a perfect example here of why I think this is going to be a very good cut of meat. All that fat that you can see that's inside of it just looks amazing. Anyway. Alright, now we've got the salt layer down. In here I've just got some pepper, I've got smoked paprika, garlic and onion powder, and also just a little bit of white sugar I put in there, just so we get a nice caramelization happening when these cook. Now I don't like to go too heavy with all this sort of stuff, so we'll just put a light coating on there. I like to get as much smoke flavour as I can on any type of meat that I cook. So I'm not going to go too crazy with this rub. But all the same, make sure you get it on the edges. I'm not going to worry about getting it on the bottom side. Now they're ready to go on the grill. Okay, I'm also going to be smoking the cauliflower. So I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to this. That looks good. And also I've got a pre-made rub. It's called Rub Me Tender from Sonnentor, which I think they say it's mainly for grilled meat, but I reckon it tastes really good on vegetables. So I'm just going to be sprinkling it with that. Now I'm not going to. This rub has no salt in it, so I'm not going to add any salt to this because I'm going to be making a puree out of the cauliflower. So I'm just going to put this on, so it has a little bit of flavour as it cooks, and I like to roast these spices off a little bit. And then once I actually make the puree, I'll add my salt to it then. All right, so that's just going to go on the grill just like that. And once it's put a fork or a knife through it and it goes through and it's cooked and nice and tender, then I'll take it off and we'll puree it. Alrighty. My grill's not quite up to temperature yet, but that doesn't matter. I've already inserted my meter probes. I'll just stick that on a little bit further. Alrighty. I'm going to stick them just to the side a little bit. And then my cauliflower right beside them. Okay, I'm going to be smoking these ribs at 110 degrees until they reach an internal temperature of about 65 to 70, and then I'm going to wrap them in butcher's paper. That's for the ribs, and as I said before, for the cauliflower, I'm just going to smoke that until it's tender and cooked through, and then I'll take it off, and then we'll puree that one and go from there. We're a little bit over 3 hours in. As you can see, they're coming along quite well. I come in and checked them about an hour and a half ago and haven't done anything to them. I'm just letting them ride. Still at 110 degrees. Currently, the smaller one here is at 76 degrees, and the fatter one here is at 68 degrees internally. Now, I was going to stop the cook and wrap them around now, but at the moment I can just see there's a little bit of pooling of liquid up there. I'm just going to tip that off, but I'm not sure if I'm going to wrap them. I think I'm just going to let these go cook completely uncovered for the whole way. As I'm just sitting there and giving it a little feel, they're not drying out at all. Not too much anyway. I mean, they've got a lot of fat covering on there. But I'm just going to give that one a little spritz, because this one will take a little longer to cook. I know that. But all I've got in here is just a bit of white wine vinegar and water that I had left over from another cook there. So let's give that a cook. The cauliflower, that's still quite hard. But I'm going to let that keep going uncovered for now to pick up more smoke. And then once the ribs get close to being ready, I'll wrap this in foil and then put it back on the grill at a higher temperature, and that should cook it completely through then. But as it is now, I'm just going to let it keep doing its thing. Now, I know I just said in the last segment that I wasn't going to wrap, but it's been a couple of hours and they've stalled out, and I don't want to get any more colour on the ribs, so I'm going to wrap. So I'm just going to remove the temperature thermometer for a minute while I wrap them. Now I want the meat to end up on the bottom, so I'm just going to fold that under so it stays on the bottom, and I'm going to insert the thermometer back in, stick it back on the grill, and I'm gonna wrap the other one as well. You would think I would learn and get a pair of gloves so I don't burn the crap out of myself every time, but I haven't, and I probably won't. So pull that out. And I'm also going to wrap the cauliflower, so I'll get a couple of sheets of alfoil. Now the cauliflower, I want to try and trap any juices that fall out of it so it starts to steam. So I'm just going to make sure that my seam that's on the bottom of these two is also wrapped up. And we catch any juice that falls out so it seams it nice and good. Right, as you can see, everything's back on the grill, all wrapped up, cauliflower as well. Now I'm just going to close it up, turn the temperature up to 150 degrees, and let it ride until it's done. Alrighty, my phone made a noise, which means one of them might be ready. This is the smaller one out of the two. I'm just going to peel the paper back a little bit and get my trusty Insta-Read thermometer. Ooh, that just feels like butter. Right now it's temping 93 degrees, but I don't need to really look at the temperature to know that is ready to take off the grill. Now the other one still has a little bit longer to go, so I'm just going to leave this one in the pan just tented it like that and just let that rest until the other one's ready. Then I'll take the other one off. Okay, I just thought I'd give you a little update on what's happening. These ribs, I'm just about ready to take off, and I've put them up onto the second rack once I took these out because I'm cooking some vegetables, and I've got the grill up to 200 degrees to make sure these cook in time. So I've put it up on the second rack, some juices are coming out of it, and also if I left it on the bottom rack, it would have burnt. I've just put this in a few minutes ago just to warm them up a little bit more because it's quite cold outside and they're a little bit cool. And the cauliflower over here, it's been thumping away, it's getting very tender, and I'm going to be taking that off here in a few minutes as well. Alrighty, these ribs are done. I'm just going to bang them in here on the plate next to that one. Just tent them a little bit. I'm also going to be, I've had this tray in the barbecue as you just saw. So also I've got a plate here. The cauliflower is also ready. I'm going to put that on there. And the vegetables I've been roasting off, I'm just going to leave in the grill for now. But we're going to take all this up, prepare the puree from the cauliflower. And by the time that's all done, I'll come down and get the vegetables and it'll be time to eat. To make the cauliflower puree, we're just going to chunk it up a little bit. I already feel it's cooked all the way through and still extremely hot. We're just going to dump it straight into a food processor. Ooh, she's warm. As I said, one of these days I'll learn and I'll get a set of gloves so I don't burn myself all the time, but it's probably never going to happen. Alrighty. So we've got about half in there at the moment. I would always take this out because it's hot and you want some of the steam to come out. So I'll just pulse this a little bit, and then once it breaks down a little bit, we'll add the rest. Alright, at this moment, I know it's going to leave a little bit of fluid, so I'm using oat milk, but because I've run out of the other milk, but this is what we had in the fridge, so I'm just going to add a little bit, and then we'll pulse it up again. You could also use like full cream if you wanted to, but yeah. Alrighty, I should be able to get the rest of this in there. Alrighty, once you got it all in there, just go ahead and poke some butter in there. You can never have too much butter in my opinion. So, bang that in there, and then we'll just start pureeing this and poking it down until it's all incorporated. Alrighty, I probably should have done that in batches, it would have been much easier on myself, but I didn't. So, once you get to this point, I added some more milk and butter in there as I was doing it. So once you get to this point here, just give it a taste. That's pretty much the consistency I want. Now I'm just going to add some salt, because as we said, we haven't added any salt to it yet. I'll just mix that into it. Alright, now we'll transfer this into a bowl, and yeah, then once we get it in a bowl, then we'll taste again for seasoning. Alright, once you've got it into your serving bowl here, just give it another taste. Probably needs a little bit more salt. Then we'll just mix that in, and it's ready to go. You could, if you wanted to make this beforehand, or if your cauliflower was ready before, you could just put this in a pot, and then just keep it there or in the fridge, and then whenever you're ready to serve it, you just heat it up on the stovetop, and it'll be ready to go. As you can see, I've already got them unwrapped and unpacked. I've already cut one down the middle here to get some photos, but I don't even know why I'm using this big knife. I could be using a butter knife. They're so tender. It just goes through like nothing, and then you have a little crust on the bottom. That's just absolutely amazing. So, big old piece of meat with the beef. I don't know if you got that on camera, but that is just full of juice. All that intramuscular fat just melted away. I can't wait. It's not full away from the bone tender, but I think with beef ribs you need that little bit of bite, just how this is. They are absolutely amazing. Just in case you can't see it, it's just full of juice. That's crazy.